Hi, my name is Jonathan Brasley. I am a 3L at Suffolk University Law School, where I serve on the executive boards of NLG and the Immigration Law Association, and I'm also a student attorney in the Immigrant Justice Clinic. I decided to study law because I realized when I was pretty young that the world is broken in a lot of ways, and I always wanted to play a part in fixing it. While I was undergrad, I got involved in student activism on campus, and I had like these great mentors and some of the older students who really educated me in direct action and some of the protest tactics that people take on. And then I finished my undergraduate degree, and I had majored in public policy. And then I went and I took this sort of top-down policy job where I just kind of felt very removed and far away from sort of the people in the communities. And so I decided to go to law school just because I wanted to sort of get back to that face-to-face, direct interaction, concrete people, problems, and just sort of trying to move the needle in the day-to-day. So I've been primarily focused in immigration law now. So that's where I've interned. Those are the classes I've been focused on taking. That's the clinic that I'm a part of. Right now in the clinic, we're mainly working with detained clients, trying to help them get bond. And given just the importance of this issue right now and how many people with the surge of detentions and the surge of immigration enforcement, I think that's definitely where I want to continue working after I graduate. I've also taken sort of a specific interest in sort of crimmigration, the sort of crossover between criminal justice and immigration as an issue. So you have these people who are convicted of a crime and then they sort of face like double jeopardy because they get charged and they get convicted and then they sort of do their time, pay the penalty, and then they face this sort of second process and this second procedure. So I think I'm most motivated by the work itself and sort of seeing people get helped and sort of seeing the appreciation that people sort of have for just even having somebody in their corner, whether there's a victory or a sort of disappointing outcome. I think that people really appreciate having somebody there with them who cares and who's fighting with them. And I think the attorneys around me and over me who I see doing this work and who I really admire, I think that in terms of trying to model your future and model how to live your life, I think that it's really helpful to sort of see people who sort of successfully built, a sense of sanity in this crazy world around helping people and making that their day-to-day life. And I think that's what keeps me going forward. So I became involved in the guild sort of by chance. I was talking to one of my classmates about something on the progressive side that he had said in class. And he said, "Oh, well, this disorientation thing is happening. You should come." And so I went and I didn't really know what it was or what to expect. And it was sort of like this, oh, moment. This is what I've been missing. In your classes, you sort of get this sort of traditionalist view of what the law is and not really why it is that way and the history and how messed up things are and how long it's been that way. And you don't really get this sense of, what needs to change. And there's not really sort of a focus on, I'm not a lawyer yet, but what can I do right now? And how can I start organizing and start getting involved and start like making an impact on some of these issues immediately? And so I think that is one thing that you also get through the guild is this sort of sense of people who are willing to take those risks and sort of recognize what a privileged position we're in, even as law students, let alone as lawyers, and sort of this feeling that privilege is something that you should use, while you have it and when you have it. You really get this sense of community of people who realize how messed up the system is and who care and who want the system to change and who are not just in it to cash a paycheck and move on to the next corporate client, but who got into this work for the right reasons, in my opinion, and who they make you feel less crazy. You always feel less crazy when you're surrounded by other people who sort of feel the things that you do and feel driven by the same things that you do. Because it can be very hard and very isolating to not have that, and then to not have mentors. Like maybe you have classmates who are like that, but you don't have those, adult adult role models who are sort of ahead of you in the field and blazing that trail and sort of showing you what can be done and what's possible, and reassuring you that there's something on the other side of law school that is worth getting to and worth working towards.